Okay, so I guess what we're basically saying is if you're afraid of something, thank you for those bits there, Ed. Appreciate that.
It's underscore just underscore a underscore nut cheered. X300.
Sorry, computer was talking, telling us about Ed and his big old bit. Um, so yeah, if you're afraid of something, if you could break it down into smaller chunks, it's easier to get past it and get over it. But if it's actually life or limb threatening, maybe don't do it. Does that about cover it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anybody else have any other advice for how do you get over that fear? I don't know if you ever actually get over the fear itself. You just accept the fear and move forward anyway.
Like Nike says, just do it.
That is actually 3 words of immense wisdom right there. You know, whether it's quitting your job and getting the other job, or asking somebody out, or trying the new restaurant, whatever it is.
Now, if you have a fear of heights and somebody says, "Let's go climb El Capitan," just say no.
No, that's all right.
Unless
It's
you
all
really
right.
want to do it.
Right.
Then that's
Then
a
do
different
it.
story. Yeah. If you want to do it. Something else I found is stop looking at the big picture and just look at that next step in front of you. Because a lot of times our fears come from living in what could be and looking at the whole thing. Andrea,
It is hard to get out of your comfort zone. I mean, I don't know if I mentioned it on the show, but you guys, I know I've talked to you, Travis and Andrea, about it. We're selling our house and we're going to buy a piece of property and do the off the grid thing. And it's something Teresa wanted to do. And I'm looking at her like she was fucking crazy. I was like, no, we're not doing that. So then she stewed on it for about 2 months and she came back to me with a plan. It's like, okay, I can do that now. If you have a plan, it's easier to get over that fear.
That's true. That's true. And also, there's a big difference between we're going off the grid or we're creating the ability to be off the grid.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't know what your plan is, but I would guess it's somewhere in between where you are now and being totally off the grid.
Yeah.
You know, I, for myself, wouldn't mind having a well and city water. That way, if city water ever collapses. Though I do want to ask you, Ed, if I had my own well, those wells at parks where we go.
Well.
Huh? We do. But we have
Yeah.
we need electricity for it to work.
You can drop a pump on top of your well cap that has the old fashioned cranky thing on it, and you can still get water.
Yeah. And that's what I wanted to talk about and ask about. And what, Andrea?
It would be so cool. And then we need a bucket without a hole in
it. Dear Liza. Okay, we got more on this. Anything to wrap it up?
See, that's where I went to, Travis.
Yeah, we always do. Okay, well, the next question kind of relates. Yeah, Maria, when it comes to running water and flushing toilets, here's a fun fact. If you have a well, if you fill the back of the toilet with water from the well, you can still flush it.
You can still flush it.
And, but your bidet will not work.
Where there's a well, there's a way.
Solar powered.
Yeah, and as for electricity with solar panels, but anyhow, that feels like a whole show.
So,
yeah.
Okay, so I saw a bidet thing that requires no electricity. I guess it's for camping or some shit. It's got like a little pump.
Like an air pump, like a bellows?
Just a little thing, so I don't know how it works, but yeah, you can have a bidet without electricity. Because I know you and Ed.
Well, that's another thing. Off the grid now, people can have electricity with solar. or wind or whatever else. And you can actually have your own buffer that stores electricity that could be used. And I don't know how that all works. I just know it's out there. Now, will that exist for 20 years being off the grid? No, probably not. You're probably going to just have this like adjustment time where you go back to more pioneer days and less modern conveniences. So, okay, next question.
What's the question?
Dear Tavern, and like I said, this one kind of relates. Dear Tavern, people say to live life to its fullest. How do you do that? Do you know anyone who is doing it?
Wow, that's one of those deep questions. That's a deep philosophical question.
Well, let's hit
what is living life to its fullest? What is that really?
See, and that's what I was going to start with. Go ahead, Andrea.
Oh, sorry.
I think it's different for each person.
Right.
That is an individual thing. And have I seen people do that? Absolutely. Were they big drug addicts? Absolutely.
Sorry, I'm answering a question in chat.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
It's fun fact. I forgot the email address.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. You want email or put them here?
I think it's, well, if you have something right this second, Ray, you could definitely drop it here. But otherwise, it's talkofthetavernshow@gmail.com. If you guys want to submit a question for a future show, talkofthetavernshow@gmail.com. See, and Maria says, I feel as though as long as you are happy, then you can live a full life without having lived a bunch of adventures or visited a bunch of places. And yes, this is why it's individual. This is why, what is your definition of living life to the fullest? Is it jumping out of a plane and, hitchhiking?
Not with my bad knees.
I'm sorry?
Not with my bad knees.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, skydiving has become less inviting to me as like my knees are like, hold on while I give you problems with stairs.
So, well, here, I have a story about that. I did speak with someone, and she said for her husband's 50th birthday, they went skydiving.
Hey, Travis,
how are your knees during that? That's my whole thing.
Testes. Okay, I don't hear it now.
I muted my mic for a second, hoping it kicks it out. Maria also says, I'm happy in my small town. I don't need to do anything that people would find exciting. I'm perfectly happy with my house, my dog, the kid, and some books to read and the ability to write. Marlene, by the way, Marlene, good to see you. Thank you for dropping in. I saw you pop in earlier. Sorry I didn't say something sooner. Marlene says, if you're satisfied on your deathbed, you have reached that fulfillment. And that is absolutely true.
Yes. That is what I try to live my life by. When I'm lying on my deathbed, I want to regret things I've done versus things I did not do. That is absolutely true.
Now, Ray says, I do feel like the people who say those kind of platitudes sometimes do it from a place of privilege, too. Which kind of platitudes do you mean, Ray? Something we've said in specific, or?
Live life to the fullest.
Oh, there is that, too. Yeah, it's... A full life is when you, whether you're laying down on your deathbed or just your night bed, when you go, it was a good day. I'm okay. It doesn't have to be those constant peaks. Andrea?
I was going to say, because it just depends on what your definition of living life to the fullest is. Where mine was time with family rather than working so much to get that money, to get that next thing. I don't have a lot of things because whatever. I'd rather have time than the money, which kind of sucks when bill time comes around. But, I was there when my kid was growing up, so I was able to watch him grow up, unlike some people that are working all the time and their kids are raised by someone else. It just, I guess it depends. It doesn't have to be money.
Okay, and I like what's going on in chat right now. Ray has clarified people who are struggling to buy food aren't able to have time and money to do fun things they want. Marlene responds, but fun things aren't just made with money. Many people who never knew modern riches lived much more fulfilled. And Ray says fun things do require time, and they do. It's this is that fine line. Andrea and I both work, and Ed, we all work our day jobs, and we have limited time for fun things. But Ed loves to go camping, and he has collected quite the amount of stuff to go camping, and this is how he finds fulfillments. I find fulfillment in writing and creating and this sort of stuff. Other people find fulfillment in going to school and getting degrees, which some people would say cost money. Other people would point out, and that's a whole nother argument, that you can get grant, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and Ray, that's a fair point. I've been in situations where I was working so much just to make enough to get by that I had no free time. And this is why realizing the small things can still be fulfilling, as opposed to that trip to a different country or a cruise or Disney World or buying that new TV or that really expensive car. At the end of your days, it's the memories, not the items. So with what time you do have, it's and Ray, or Marlene, I'm sorry. Marlene says people who farm in very rural places also work all day just to life, just to self-sustain. That's all their life is, and they're very fulfilled. Here's what I'll tell you. From what I've seen from human nature, accomplishing something creates fulfillment.
Fulfillment, yeah.
Now that might be
Indeed.
Yeah, Andrea.
No, go ahead. I'll let you finish.
Okay, hold your thought though. Don't lose it. Going to work on a farm, you feel accomplished. I got enough food. I did this hard work. My family is eating. They're healthy or whatever. Often living in suburban or urban areas, you don't get that kind of fulfillment. Going to work for somebody else to make them money, it's hard to find that fulfilling. I call it soul sucking.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's other ways, as somebody who's on a limited budget, that I have to find ways to be fulfilled. Now, a lot of people in our modern world get false fulfillment through, I binge watched this on the latest streaming service. I played this video game and got this new level. And that's a false fulfillment quite often. Now, for somebody, I'm sure it's absolutely fulfilling.
Before you go to that, Andrea, and I want to add to what you said, Travis, on a personal level. But Andrea, you had something to say?
Well, going along with the farmers thing, I don't have a lot of money, but I do have time, and just the little bit of money I spend on the seeds and tending to the seeds and watching them grow into things that, like the pumpkins, the flowers, the vegetables, or the stuff we eat, that's very fulfilling in many ways. So I understand the whole farmer, because they watch things grow and come to fruition.
Now, another comment from Ray. I do feel like we in the Western world live in a society that is not designed for a sense of fulfillment. We capitalism. A few replies to that. Marlene says, yes, it's all hollow crap. It will not last. It will not be something that you remember into old age. Yeah, that's what we're saying.
To add to what you were saying, I worked 2 jobs that were craft positions. I used to build reproduction lighting, and I used to work for Potomac Leather Company. That those that have been to Maryland Renaissance Fair, they know who they are. they were the most fulfilling jobs I ever had, in that I could see what was being produced from my labor.
Mm-hmm.
However, I couldn't live.
Mm.
So I had to go back here in the other fucking world.
Call it starving artist for a reason.
Yep.
I think what we're saying is if you change perception and realize the value of the things that you do and create and make, then even in this Western world we live in, Andrea with her garden, me with my writing, Ed, if you look at Ed's house, this is largely handmade. And he comes home to his fulfillment every day with his wife, with his cast iron skillets and homemade food and canning. Yeah, it's an age old thing that some people don't get. It's the small things, it's the things you do for your life that create that fulfillment. It's not a big goal, though a lot of these small things can lead to a larger goal. Yeah, I won't stop writing even though I'm not making a living on it because I just get so much out of it. It has an personal, intricate value to it. But yeah, it's not an easy question. And as Ed or Andrea, I think it was Ed in the very beginning said, it's very individualistic and you have to kind of figure it out on your own. The comment, Ed?
That was her.
Marlene says also you have to find what creates your inner peace. There are people who find their fulfillment in lifelong service, nuns, professional old fashioned butlers. Some people devote to their family in that way. That's very true too.
I've seen Downton Abbey. I understand that.
This is part of the reason why I stream and create podcasts. It's not a financial lucrative thing. Matter of fact, I'm losing money every time I do it. But I give something back to others, and it is a service. Writing is a service. Yes, you get that. I created something, but you also, I gave something to somebody else to enjoy, and that does have value. And here's a general thing that could be argued, but I think a lot of people who are just selfish and do it only for themselves never really find a lot of fulfillment in their life.
Yeah.
We have time for one more question if we make it quick. You guys got any closing thoughts on that?
Yeah, we're good. I'm good. Although half of me has disappeared, but
I know if you're half the man you were, Ed. Now we have a couple questions about kids here, but we'll hit at least one of them right now. Dear Tavern, my kid is upset about popular kids at school. They keep asking me why they are popular. Why do you think they're popular? Now, we could translate this to adult life too. And without even going into movie stars or whatever. You know, we know people at work who are popular. Why are they popular? How do you become popular?
I don't know, because I'm not popular.
Yeah, I wasn't a popular kid. Kind of, sort of, maybe. I don't know.
But you two are very popular here in the tavern. People love it when they see you and when you pop in, whether it's Andrea standing be loud, says Marlene.
Yeah. That's not me, usually.
See, Maria says the kids who were popular at my high school had money. Were they paying people to like them, Maria? What were they doing different? I think we all were. I was not popular at all. I was known, but I wasn't popular. Yeah, Andrea?
Yeah, that was me.
Okay. So with the money thing, I've seen this page. So there's someone that everyone knows who they are. Now you're blurry, Ed. Everyone knows who they are. They have money. They can afford things, but people give them things and won't let them pay for
it. Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that has to do with anything. It's just an observation.
He moved again.
I'm still here. Okay.
But maybe that makes them popular because it's like, oh, there's this unattainable thing. Let me. I don't know. I don't know how to explain. I don't know.
I think unattainable is actually a very good key to what we're looking at right here. When people look at others going, there's no way I can be like them, but I want to be like them, they tend to stare at that person or follow that person or watch that person. And that creates this false identity of popular. Now, there is another type of popular. And by the way, let me read Maria's comment. Kinda answering the, did these people buy their friends? I mean, one was a Sobeys kid. And if you were friends with him, you could just go on the Sobeys jet or away for vacation, one of the summer homes. Yeah, that's Maria says I was not his friend. Yeah, and Ray says the popular kids in school were mostly in sports. These are things.
Yeah, and that's what I'm here thinking. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of people see I can never do that. I want to be like that.
Yeah.
This is why I say there's that two types of popularity. There's these folks we're talking about. There is another type of popular with Ed and Andrea. I mentioned you're popular here on the Tavern. You come in, you relax, and you go, I'm me. And I'm not trying to live up to your expectations. I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just doing what I do and having a good time. And that is another kind of popularity. That confidence and relaxed in just being yourself, because that's unattainable to a lot of people.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. That's very unattainable to a lot of people.
But I think that I'm not so sure. I've been out of school a long time. Bear with me. I'm not so sure that type of popularity is as recognized.
I agree.
In school as later in life.
I agree. It does come across. Well, go ahead, Andrea.
So now, in the past few years, is popularity in school the same as it was before? Because do they still have sports? Do they have anything? Are people? A lot of schools aren't even in person anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, that's an interesting concept.
Yeah. So, I mean, I just don't understand. I don't know.
Now, I want to read a few comments here. Now, just so everybody knows, Marlene, for a living, is a biologist. So these comments follow that. Marlene says, yes, being strong or pretty are just basic biology things. It's popular because it's evolutionarily advantageous. So that's a fair point. There is a basic animal instinct for that sort of thing. And Maria says, by the way, Ray did say, I was a nerd and did fencing outside of school, which did not count. But later, that count. I mean, like, people now are like, oh, you did fencing? That's cool.
Yeah.
At least for the three of us, I think we could say we've...
He would be popular in this crowd. That's for damn sure.
That's right. Maria says, people become popular because they have something, be it money, specific skill, fashion sense, that other people want, and they believe that by following or idolizing that person, the thing that may be what they want from that person will rub off on them.
Everybody wants to be like Mike.
Right. And Maria says, I also just asked a high schooler right now, and she said that the popular kids are the ones with money. Marlene adds, oh, Ray, I've done fencing, and so has Ed, and I have items here that we could do it with. I would suck. It's been a decade and a half since I've lifted one. But anyhow, Marlene says, we follow strong people. So the sports people, to survive, we like cute and we take care of our babies. And that's why cute pretty also works in the bigger population. This is all going back to base instinct, which I think a lot of people don't realize. We're fucking animals, people. We're
Yeah, we
animals.
are animals.
And
yeah.
Don't fuck the animals.
Yeah, we still have instincts and do some things that it's just instinct, as Marlene is pointing out with the biology angle here.
Yeah, so, the pretty chick is going to produce pretty babies for me, or vice versa. Yeah.
Ray says, thanks, Andrea. I was thinking it. Maria says, I used the cardboard rolls from Christmas paper to pretend fence with my siblings. Does that count? Absolutely.
No, because those are lightsabers.
Yes.
That's right. And they even make the whoop, whoop, whoop noises. So for this question with your kid, there's two ways to go about it. One is to have something that stands out, be that money, which lends its way to fashion, be that some kind of standout ability, whether that's art or sports or whatever. But here's the hardest part.
Or not, sir?
Oh, this is interesting. I'm going to read Marlene's comment before I finish my thought here. Marlene says, as for why kids with money are popular, it's mostly because privilege creates calm, and kids struggling at home for food, attention, etc. just want that stability and peace. That's a confidence. That calm is a confidence. You're comfortable with yourself, and that is the hardest thing in life to get, in my experience. It's one of those things. I know people 20 years older than me still struggling with that. And sometimes we have it, sometimes we don't. But yeah, it definitely goes back and forth. So I don't know if you can coach your kid to chill out, relax, be yourself, and be confident in it and stop caring what other people think. Because that's not something you can tell somebody to do. That's not something you can even teach. That's just something I don't know, Ed, one day just decide to have and say, fuck it all to whatever anybody else thinks. Andrea?
Yeah, I mean, Teresa and I have often said, because we're a bit of hippies in our own right, and we said our kids would stay in trouble in school because they'd just be little hippies running around school. You can't tell me to put clothes on. So they'd be popular in their own right, probably.
Andrea, any closing thoughts on the topic?
No.
Yeah. Society has leaned towards lately empowering your children. Now, empowering has led to entitlement. And that's the extreme. That's going too far. Because when you go to entitlement, you've given empowerment with no responsibility or repercussions.
Right.
And that's dangerous. That leads to, well, we've all seen public figures with this, and probably people in our personal life who just think they're the shit with no reason to think it. There's nothing to back it up. So, yeah, there's no easy answer to this, I think. Okay. Any other thoughts before we wrap up this episode?
No.
Ed?
Nope.
Okay, let's go into the outro stuff. I want to thank everybody for joining us. You guys were awesome. Thank you so much for all your input, thoughts, ideas, questions, and everything else. This is the shit, people. You're the shit. Roll out the toilet paper, not the red carpet, because you're the shit. So, let's go into that closing stuff, and we will catch you on the next episode. Before we go, I want to remind everyone that you can email us at talkthetavernshow@gmail.com to let us know your thoughts on the show's topic, suggest another topic that you'd like to hear us discuss, or just have us read a message out on air to someone in your life. Thanks for supporting the show by downloading the podcast, sharing it on social media, grabbing some shirt stickers and mugs from bit.ly/tavern merch, or barware patches and hats from bit.ly/tavern merch too. That's bit.ly/tavern merch or tavern merch and the number 2. Thanks to everyone who joined us live at twitch.tv/Travis Tavern Talk, and everyone who supports the Tavern by subscribing, hosting, throwing bits, raids, and most of all, commenting. Thanks for joining us in the discussion shenanigans tonight. You are the one thing that makes the show what it is. Don't forget to join us at the Tavern next week. Until then, have fun, keep learning, and be good to one another. Now, raise your glass in good cheer. Enjoy the small moments every day and steamy dreams every night.